We are taught that we don't pray as Christians do on our knees. We pray standing up, facing the east, our hands in this manner. Bow your head slightly, and you can repeat the prayer yourself as I say it. Oh Allah, I seek that refuge from anxiety and grief. I seek that refuge from lack of strength and laziness. I seek that refuge from cowardice and negligence. I seek that refuge from being overpowered by death and the oppression of men. Suffice thou me with what is lawful, to keep me away from what is prohibited, and with thy grace make me free from war, from what is beside thee. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest apostle. Amen. Amen. In the name of Almighty God, Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all holy praise is forever due, and in the name of his last and greatest apostle, our divine leader, teacher, and guide, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I greet my brothers and sisters in the greeting words of peace and paradise of As-salamu alaykum.
Wa alaykum salam.
We see we got a brother that's come in today. He's come out of the other world with that fresh cut. So all praise is due to Allah. We don't want to represent ourselves looking like those on the outside. Because here is where we need to be, and what we do here is what we need to be doing.
Yes, sir.
We are distinguished by our actions and our manner and our appearance.
Right.
So all praise is due to Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He has given us the instruction on how we should be looking.
Yes.
And representing.
Mm-hmm.
So I greet my brothers and sisters in the greeting words of peace and paradise of As-salamu alaykum.
Wa alaykum salam.
So how are my brothers and sisters this afternoon?
Fine, all praise to Allah from the Son of Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, all praises are due to Almighty God's messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the first begotten of the dead.
Yes, sir.
And when we say that, we don't mean getting up out of the graveyard.
No.
But coming out of that mentally dead state that we've been put in, having been brought here some 400 plus years ago and made other than self.
Right.
We are definitely grateful to Almighty God for raising one from amongst us who has shown us that where we are today is not where we were supposed to be.
Right.
But he is giving the power to us now to be able to come and be that which we should be.
Yes.
We call this the Muhammad's Temple of Islam under the Nation of Islam. So we are in the process now of rebuilding that which we've been so far away from.
Yes, sir.
So all praises is definitely due to Almighty God for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Right.
his last apostle,
Mm-hmm.
his greatest messenger.
Yes, indeed.
To the lost found here in the hills of North America. We know according to scripture, Jesus told his disciples, go first to the lost sheep in the house of Israel.
Yes.
At that time, we were not known to be here because we were not here.
Right.
So that prophecy of the direction that he was giving was for those who would never be able to find us.
Right.
So it took Almighty God himself to come and find us.
Yes, sir.
He said, even I will go after them. Right. And all praise is due to him. He has found us.
Yes, he has.
All praise is due to Almighty God. We can't say it enough. Especially when we know where we've been, the condition that we've been in, and what the, I just put it like this, the hell we've had to endure.
Yes, we have.
You know, brothers and sisters, here at Muhammad's Temple, this is a place of learning.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice the difference when you came in, the first thing you had to undergo was a search procedure.
Yes.
And this is for men, women, children, everybody, even the membership.
Yes.
The messenger said we search everybody.
We do.
And there are those places that have been set up claiming to be Muhammad's temples or mosques that everybody don't get searched.
Think about that.
But we adhere to the teaching, that the instructions that the messenger has left in place for us.
Right.
So if we do it as he said, and do it as he do it, we can certainly know that we are correct in our actions.
Right.
And we are smart enough now, we might say, having the lessons that he has given us, that we can pull each other's coattail when we see somebody doing it improperly. I don't want to use the word wrong because we don't want to be wrong.
No.
You know, we don't want to make mistakes. We make errors in anything. That means that we didn't have an intention of mistaking something. It was an error. As we look in our temple, we find that our seating arrangement is not like that in most places of worship.
Right.
We have brothers on one side and sisters on the other. This is a temporary separation.
Yes,
Why?
sir.
Because we want both of us, male and female, to get a clear understanding of what's being taught. Because for many of us, this is something they've never even heard.
Right.
Certainly never even come into a temple to see and witness in person.
True.
You know, we got a lot of people on the corners out here teaching and preaching some semblance of what the message gives. But if you want the real deal, as they say, you got to come to the house that Muhammad built.
Yes.
And that's Muhammad's temple of Islam.
Yes, sir.
I didn't say mosque. I didn't say synagogue. I didn't say anything other than temple. Because that's what he left us with, temples. And we are well aware that there have been changes and alterations made in what's being taught and what's being presented to
Yes.
our people. And all praise is due to Allah. If we do it as he said, the way he do it, we can be assured that those who come here to get the information will get it properly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Get it properly, because that's what we want. To get something that we have never had before in the purest form. You know, when we came to this country, we came here with names that were not John Smith, Poon, or whatever. None of these things. We came here with a brain and mindset that which dealt with the culture that we were involved in, which was a righteous culture.
Yes, sir.
Due to the teachings and instructions of white people, we have been made other than self. Yes, we have. Other than self. You know, we look at each other now and we call ourselves niggas. You know, not even knowing what a nigger really is. But all praise is due to Allah. We are coming back into the knowledge of the importance of self.
Yes, we
and
are.
who self really is. It makes a difference, brothers and sisters, when you know
Who you are.
They had us praying to a God that didn't even exist.
Sure did.
And didn't tell you that he didn't exist. He just told you, if you do right by us, when you die and go to heaven, you can go to heaven. Not knowing then that there was no heaven for you to go to under what they was teaching.
Exactly.
All praises due to Allah. We know there is a heaven and you got to experience it while you live.
Right.
You don't experience it after you physically go.
Sure don't.
The only thing you can experience after you physically gone is that which we have no knowledge of. Because we ain't been there. But we've been in a mental death.
Yeah.
And now we are awakened. This is what resurrection is all about. That they talk about in scripture. This is the awakening of the dead man. A man who was born blind, deaf, and dumb. Made that way by somebody other than self. And as we look at our surroundings, you don't see no choir behind me.
No.
We don't need no choir to sing the praises of Almighty God.
That's the
because
truth.
we teaching that, which is the praises of Almighty God. So you hear us say all praises due to Allah. A man, not a spook, nor is he a spirit.
True.
Never has been,
Never will be.
Always a physical being. When we talk about ghosts, like they relate to us, no. We don't have, when they talk about angels, like they relate to us, no, it ain't none of that going on, brothers. Ain't nobody falling or sliding or floating in through no cloud or on no cloud. Because if you know math and science, if you in the cloud and you're not in some apparatus that's going to keep you up there, you're coming down to the ground.
Exactly.
And you're probably going to be falling real hard.
Yes, sir.
You don't want that. As you look at our surrounding, as we said, we have a board over here to my right. Well, actually, that's my left. It's your right. That we write on.
Yes.
Because in a classroom, which this is, there are things that we have to put on the board.
True.
So we make the tools available for us to be able to use. Behind me, there's a map of the world. Not just the United States, but the whole world. So we relate to things. When we talk about the earth, and we talk about what's on it, we talk about all of it belonging to us, even though we don't even know that.
Think about that.
When we get to talking about the measurements of the planet, we don't get none of that in no church. We don't hardly get that in a school.
No.
But we get it in the temple.
We sure do.
Because it's your planet, brothers and sisters. And we want you familiar with it. Even though there's somebody else on it ruling most of it. Because it was given dominion and power over the
6
Who am
devils.
I talking about?
The devil.
Adam and Eve, right? The brother said the devil. That's who it really is, the devil. But that's a made people. We produced them. We gave them an opportunity to run things the way they want to run.
And they have.
And we are so sorry we let them do it. Because they have really raised a lot of hell, man.
They sure
We're
have.
talking about raising Cain. That's what it's all about. Raising hell. Because Cain killed Abel, didn't he?
Yeah.
We are the Abel that they're talking about. Why? Because we were able. And they have shown us down mentally to a level that we didn't even think we could get up. We be looking up trying to see the bottom. That's how deep down we were.
Yes,
or
sir.
have been.
Right.
But all praises due to Allah, we coming up now. There's that old song, come on. We're coming up right on the right side of the mountain. All praises due to Allah. We're doing that today. Over to my right, we have a board that we refer to as our actual facts board. And the beauty of this board is that everything on it has a specific meaning,
Sure.
and it has multiple meanings.
Yeah.
So here in the temple, we teach you the meanings of these things. And as you grow in your knowledge and understanding of these teachings, you can see even other things that's built into the
Yes,
board.
you can.
It's a board that's 360 degrees.
Yes.
But oftentimes our people don't pay attention to these things.
No.
They just say, oh, that's a pretty board. Y'all got some nice symbols up there. But what do it mean?
Good
And
question.
the meaning of it was makes it so much important.
Yes, it
We say
does.
a picture is worth 1,000 words.
words.
So all praises due to Allah. We want to give you the opportunity to experience some of these 1,000 words.
Yes, sir.
On this board, you see Christianity on one side and Islam on the other. We're talking about two world orders going on. Some say two camps. Some say it's night and day in a sense. But yeah, let's wake you up a little bit, because Christianity is what we've been raised with.
Right.
We've been told about a Jesus and a Mary and a Joseph and a God. All four of them was connected in some way. The Jesus is said, according to the Christian teachings, to be the Son of God. Yet we know that Joseph, I should say, and Mary had a hookup and produced a baby that they said, damn, belonged to Jesus. Belonged to God. So what they saying? They saying he made a baby with another woman or with a woman who was involved with another man. What that mean? Jesus. A player? God, a player or something? I don't know what they want to imply that he was. But the fact of the matter is, Mary and Joseph made this baby. The name Jesus was put on him, but his name really was Esau. Esau Yusuf, which means what? Esau, son of Joseph.
Son of Joseph.
I know I didn't put the Abdul in there because Abdul means son of or servant of. So it was Esau, Abdul, Yusuf. We see the United States flag here. That's the flag we've been raised under. Actually, we have not been raised under it. We have been indoctrinated in it. Because the teachings of it, we don't know what it means.
No.
All we know is red and white and blue, and it's got some stars on it. We don't know what the real symbolism of that is. But you can learn that here.
Yes.
You need to come back again to get some of it.
Yes, sir.
Under it, you see a cross. Now, I know you're familiar with this cross, because you know that from the cross that they said they killed Jesus and hung him on.
That's what they
And
said.
if he was a prophet coming to you or a son of God coming to you, why do you think they killed the man?
They didn't like it.
Maybe they ain't want nothing to do with nobody that's going to be bringing them some righteousness.
Right.
And that was the case. Because even in the trial that they was holding, they said, oh, Pius said, I ain't see no fault in the man. What y'all want to do?
Kill him.
We want to kill him. Well, y'all more number than me. What do you think? So, bam, we got a symbol of a cross with a man hanging on it who's supposed to be, quote unquote, a holy man. A man of righteousness. So whomever was in charge over here won't down with no righteousness.
No.
Under it, we see a little brother hanging on the tree. He ain't on the cross, but he been crossed up.
He been crossed
You
up.
understand what I'm saying?
All crossed
He's
up.
been crossed up. But that's the symbol of us, what they've been doing to us.
Right.
Lynching us, brothers and sisters.
Still
We
doing
hear it going on every day,
every day.
all day. We out there marching now because another brother
Been lynched.
has been killed or lynched by them pressing on their neck till dead. They say you innocent until proven guilty. If he was doing something so wrong that they done executed him prior to a trial or anything, something was wrong here. You know, some people say, we gonna march. Well, what do marching do for us?
Wipe your shoes
The
off.
program is separation as opposed to integration. Because integration say, come on, let's get together and we're gonna be one. We can't be one without open enemy. Once you know who the open enemy is.
Right.
And even if you don't know who the open enemy is, there's been enough going on in this world that we have witnessed and experienced to know there ain't no unification here. You ain't got no love for me. So you hold a sign talking about Black Lives Matter. Black lives have always mattered. But it don't matter to somebody because they certainly killing enough of black people. Yet we want to take and join on. We got white folks marching with us now. They part of the trip. But we don't accept that because the program that we've been brought up under with white people, with black leadership, is that of integration, civil rights. They never talk about separate, get your own, do your own, have your own.
Right.
No, it's about give me some of your pie. Don't we know how to make a pie? We should after all these years.
We should.
And I don't mean eating pie that you consume, but I'm talking about a lifestyle that you can enjoy while you're living.
Yeah.
You ain't got to have white people. No, you don't. You say, well, he teaches how to do this, how to do that.
Don't
Who
you?
you think taught him?
Good question.
Come on now. Whose universities do we find he was going to? Ours. To do what?
Learn
what we was doing, and they still trying to figure out how to build a pyramid.
Yeah.
And other things, because he's always trying to get in on something. Understand what I'm saying? Under here we say slavery, suffering, and death. That's what you get on that side of the boat. Many of us wants that. And if you don't, you must have told a lie. Because you're out for it. You expect a white man to treat you like he treat his own. It ain't gonna never happen.
Never.
I saw a little incident on the TV news where the police pushed this 70-some-year-old man down on the ground, bust his head over, hitting the ground, and then they just walking on back. All praises to God. You know, I bet you don't hear nothing about nobody getting suspended or having charges placed to get him on that one. But on the black one, because they got to give us a pacifier, they gonna say we gonna charge him, upgrade his murder charge from 3rd degree to 2nd degree. And we firing these other guys and they bring charges against them. Why? Because he want to keep your mouth shut.
Deceive.
He know you'll burn a town down. You done did it before. You doing it some here in Richmond now. This is not the first time Richmond has had some violence go down where they burning the town down, breaking out windows in stores. It happened back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. People were putting in, black folks was putting signs on the building talking about soul brother location.
You break it down.
Letting people know I'm black, don't break it.
Don't break it, man.
Yet we don't care, or they don't care that they were black, white, or whatever. But then again, the white man's world is going down, and there's nothing he can do about it. You can't prop it up because he don't know how to prop it up. He should have did what domestic gave him an opportunity to do.
But he didn't.
Show his black man some mercy. Show him some righteousness, some goodness. Treat him like he want to be treated. They push that out there on you, don't they? What go around, come around, the Jew man said, an eye for an eye,
Two
a
for
tooth
two.
for a tooth.
Right.
But they don't want you to exercise that type of liberty. On the other side of the board, we see some symbols with Islam, a flag.
Right.
We received this flag in 1930.
Right.
Given to us by Almighty God Himself.
Right.
Now, we gladly wave this over here. Stars and Stripes, which has been an oppressive representation for black people.
Yes.
But when it comes to this one that gives you freedom, justice, and equality and represent that in the flag, you don't want to do it. Not you per se, but we as a people. Why? Because we have not been raised this way.
True.
This is an introduction to you that's against this. You so scared over here under that you scared to get over here with this.
Think about
You're
that.
not realizing this is where your freedom, justice, and equality really is. The red represents the sun. The sun gives its light and vitamins to everything it touches. It don't care. treated all the same.
Yes.
The star represents justice, which is the star you see on the authority's chest and stuff, or some emblem representing that. But we don't get that under white folk.
Mm-mm.
You got plenty of stars in the flag over there. Anywhere you go, you get the same thing with it. You got a cane, he'll open up for you, and it's there to work. All you got to do is just get out of line a little bit.
Yeah, he'll get you.
A little bit.
Uh-huh.
He'll open that cane up for you, and the next thing you know, you in serious trouble with him.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do nothing about it.
Mm.
Well, I can get a lawyer.
Mm.
Well, whose court he gonna take you to?
The crooked court.
Whose judge is gonna be sitting in front of him?
Crooked.
Even if he black, he belong to the white man.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's under his authority.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our moon here, like an opposite C
Mm-hmm.
or a backward C,
Mhm.
is opposite from the crescent that you see on the Eastern Muslim flag.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it represents a brand new day coming in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the dawning, as we say,
Of
of the new day. That's why you're being introduced to these things as you are now.
Mhm.
That's why you're learning that the white man is in fact the devil. That's a capital THE and a capital DEVIL.
DEVIL.
I mean, however you spell it, you know what I'm talking about. DEVIL.
Right.
It's him.
Yeah.
And in between the two, and this of course says freedom, justice, and equality, as we said. And between the two, we ask which one will survive the war of Armageddon.
Yes, sir.
Well, the question is, well, what is the war of Armageddon?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the scripture tells you that the day is coming when there's going to be a great judgment.
Yes.
There will be three things going down. There's going to be a resurrection. Christians tell you getting about the grave, y'all. It ain't happening.
Mm-mm.
But this resurrection is a mental
Mental.
awakening that we will experience. He knows about it,
Mhm.
and when the word comes down, as it is coming down today, his people will know about it too.
Mhm.
Because most of them don't even know what it really means.
They don't.
But this is the awakening of the black man and woman in the hills of North America and all over the world. We first, because the man said, "Go ye first to who?
The lost
To the
sheep.
lost sheep." Where?
The house
In
of
the
Israel.
house of Israel. You know, you thought you talking about somebody across the water.
Mm.
No, brothers and sisters. This is us here in the hills of North America
Yes,
that
sir.
he's talking about.
True.
So when we see freedom, justice, and equality, we should run to it,
Right.
but we won't run fast enough.
Mm.
Why? Because we like being over here.
Mm.
You can be over there and do whatever you want to do. You
Damn.
can cuss and raise hell all day long.
And
You go to
night.
church on Sunday talking, Jesus forgive me.
Mm.
I expect to be given.
Yeah. Forgive me.
It ain't happening. Mm-mm. We say you make your own bed.
It's
You
evil.
reap what you sow, and that's mathematics. So what go around, come around. If you acting up, you gonna get some punishment,
Mm-hmm.
either from the law or the land or God.
God himself. Right.
You don't want none of that God punishment.
Ooh, that's
You know,
terrible.
you don't even want
The devil.
devil punishment. Of course, we said, I'm black, I can do
Mm.
time. And he lets us experience what we said, doing time. Too much of it, really. Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? That's that war where those three things happen. Resurrection,
Separation.
separation. I know you don't want to separate.
And judgment.
You want to include white folk in everything you do.
Mhm.
You roll up in your church and you happy to see. You don't even know that the devil just walked in the door. Our people, our people.
Yes, sir.
You better listen to Elijah.
Yes.
Because if you want to know the truth, he's the one who's bringing that today.
Mm-hmm.
White man can tell you whatever he want to tell you, but it's all about a trick to keep you with him.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all Muslims always talking about separating, doing your own thing,
Biblical.
being about your nation.
Mm.
But why not?
Mm-hmm.
Every other person of color on the planet,
Has. It
I
all.
mean, brown, red, yellow, and white,
Mhm.
about their thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we gonna get with our thing?
Mm.
Now that you're learning what it is.
Yes.
Resurrection, separation,
And
and
judgment.
judgment. Let me just say this in regards to judgment, and I'm gonna get on out your face. White man is leaving the planet, brothers and sisters. You don't think so? You hear him talking about trying to get to Mars. We want to colonize Mars.
No, no, no.
What you plan to do there when you get there? Don't you know that belongs to us too?
You want
We ain't
to
let you spread all over the
universe? No.
Bring you what you brought here.
Fear.
There?
Indecency.
No, the message said we had people that was living on Mars 1,200 of Earth years.
Mhm.
And if they don't want to be seen, you won't see.
You won't see it.
But that's like this, you know, they had one of the rovers,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna throw it out there because it's verifiable.
Mhm.
They had one of the rovers, something happened with it,
Mhm.
and it was sitting there on the land,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes pictures 360 degrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it had taken a picture down on the ground beside it, showing the shadow of some figure working on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. No explanation.
Mm-hmm.
You let you think what you want to think.
Mm-hmm.
If they have been one of those 12,000-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
1,200-year-old persons,
Mhm.
or it could be somebody they already had colonizing the Mars and you don't know nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
White man is secretive. They allow a lot of space missions go on,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
All you know now, SpaceX, that shot a man on up there,
Mm-hmm.
hooked up with the space station.
Space station.
They'll be up there a few months, then they expect to come on back and splash down. Oh, happy day.
Mm-hmm.
Whole lot more than that going on.
Yes, it is.
White man trying to get up out of here
You
because
sure?
he know his time is up.
Hmm.
All praises due to Allah. We know his time is up too. And if
We
you don't believe it, as the message said, just stick around.
Stick around a little while.
Yeah, all praises due to Allah. Which one gonna win it? This is a new kid on the block.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for 6,000 years.
That's all.
That's all. And look at what he's done in that limited period of time. But this is the new one has come. This is resurrection, brothers and
Yes.
sisters. This teaching you will never hear coming out of any university, any church, any synagogue, or any place other than Muhammad's temples of Islam.
Right.
We pray you come on down and get some of this.
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah, and then show you how we not only go into this teaching here, but we expand you in scripture, both Bible and Holy Quran.
Right.
I know most people say, I don't know nothing about the Quran. Well, come on down and get some knowledge about it.
Right.
The man that gave you all that Bible teaching, you ain't know nothing about that either.
And still
But you think you're an authority on it. Let's come on down and be enlightened. Our subject today is the teachings of the Holy Quran on obedience. Now, I know you know nothing about no being obedient. Because you like doing whatever it is you want to do. You know, and then you go on in the church, if you make it there, and pray to Jesus, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. You know, but you already knew what you was doing when you was doing what you was doing. Now you want to be forgiven. And this is not the day that you're going to be forgiven, brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. No.
We said today every tub got to stand on its
His own
own
body.
feet.
Mm-hmm.
So any bed you make, you can expect to have to lay in.
Mm.
But the Quran on obedience is the lecture today, and it's going to give you some insight on what that is all about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some teaching in the Bible about doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obedience. Now you're going to get a little bit on the Quran about doing the right thing, obedience. So our speaker this afternoon is our temple minister, Brother Kamau Islam. The brother's been around learning this teaching since high school. I'm going to say he came out of high school in 1968, give you some idea how old he is now and how long he's been studying these teachings. He's the minister here. He's very knowledgeable. And the teachings got, even at his ripe age, he's still got a good mind for grasping and repeating and bringing forth the teachings that he's learned years and years and years and years ago. You know, he ride around in his car listening to the messenger's teachings. Some of us be riding around in the car listening to the radio. It just goes to show, you know, we choose what we choose. Personally, I don't even ride around with my radio on. And sometimes I'm playing the messages from the nation through the radio in the car from my phone. Okay. You know, because when you hook your phone to the car, it plays through the speakers, you know. Yeah. And my wife tells me sometimes, she said, she's outside the car, she said, I could hear the radio playing, you know, from the outside. Or when the phone is on and talking, I can hear it from the outside. I ain't trying to entertain nobody on the outside either way, but sometimes you just don't know how loud things be on the outside. All praises to Allah. So join with me in welcoming him, warmly welcoming him to the rostrum with a round of applause. Now, leave you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam, sir.
Before we continue on, let's thank Brother Secretary Hakeem Muhammad for bringing us that enlightening introduction to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the introduction that Mess Muhammad desires that every believing temple membership introduce him with is found in the actual facts board. Right. A board designed by Almighty God's messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to teach us of our home, the universe itself. But we specify where we live in the universe. We don't live on Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, but we live on planet Earth.
Yes, sir.
Right? And Mr. Muhammad says, these teachings were given to him by Almighty God himself so that we can know ourselves.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, we do indeed teach of the universe, and let's give Brother Secretary Hakeem Muhammad another well-deserved round of applause for teaching us some of the unlimited science of our universe. How are the brothers and sisters here today at Muhammad's Temple of Islam?
We find all praises due to Allah for most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
And truly we are fine, because Allah has given us one to teach us in a manner in which we can become and remain fine. And to stay in this state of mind, we have to continuously study that which he teaches us from Allah, Master Farad Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has given us a subject here found in Message to the Blackman in America on page 259. And this subject deals with a holy book. Most people, when they say a holy book, oh, it must be the Bible. Well, it is that which was written by the original man at the beginning of this 25,000 year history cycle. We have a lesson, we ask the question, the lesson does, who wrote the Holy Qur'an or Bible? Meaning what? Similarities between the two.
Right.
How long ago? And will you tell us why Islam renews her history every 25,000 years? The answer being the Holy Qur'an or Bible, whatever you want to call it, is written by the black man of Asia. And then it tells you who the black man of Asia is. He's Allah. That's the all-wise God. So if a book has been written, not if, but since a book has been written by the all-wise God, who's all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-hearing, wouldn't the wisdom in that book be some of the best wisdom that anybody could ever receive? And it is. And the devil knows it is. So what does he do when he builds his world? He goes around to try to give the people a misunderstanding and a misinterpretation.
That's right.
Of the scripture.
Yes, sir.
He couldn't crawl straight into the Holy Qur'an and tamper with it. But he could tamper with people who lived in civilizations, and these people were wise enough to know we can't let him mess with the main text of our book. But some of his influence can possibly seep into the footnotes.
Yes, sir.
That the scholars of the day and time would use and comment on these great teachings. So he said, hold it, Mr. Devil, or Mr. Grafted Arrow, or Mr. Semitic Man, or whoever you call yourself.
Right.
If you're not going to be right, which most likely you're not, don't bother with the main text of this book. This was the authority among the civilized black people.
That's right.
They said, if you make any comments, put them in the form of footnotes, but don't alter the main text.
Yes.
The people who got hold of that part is called the Bible. They had a field day with that, and they still have a field day. From Genesis to Revelation. The message says Muslims believe in both books, but we believe in the truth of the Bible. But what about the rest of the Bible? It has been tampered with.
That's
By
right.
King James and the Catholic Church
That's right.
and 666 different denominations of
That's
people.
right. Teach, bro.
They done played all in and out of the Bible. So God had to come himself to reinterpret the Bible so that the people would not be snared
That's
by the
right.
falsehoods that have been added to it. The books are so powerful that in many instances, the white man didn't necessarily have to mess it all the way up. He could put some of the wisdom of the Bible and let it stay there. But the way he had dumbed down the people, they wouldn't understand it. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He doesn't tell you where this beginning was. He doesn't even tell you the location of the heavens and the earth that were created. He tells you, just look out there, you see it. And then it says, it was without form and void. Well, if you're not a chemist or physicist, you wouldn't understand too much about something being without form and void. But once you go to school and learn that science, oh, you mean God brought something out of a gaseous state? Yes. What's a gas? It's one form of matter.
Yes, sir.
What's matter? Matter is anything that cannot be created nor destroyed. What else about matter? Matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. Matter is everywhere.
Right.
And the average person walking around through matter and don't understand anything about matter. And sometimes you ask them a question, they tell you that don't matter. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, we must learn what Allah has taught us, and then we will be on the road to understanding creation. We live in the creation. We're part of the creation. So the more we know about it, the more we can appreciate it, the more we can enjoy it, and the longer as individuals we can partake of it. Now, he's given us something that people do when they don't understand God, nor his messengers, nor his prophets. The whole Qur'an teaches about this. And the whole Qur'an teaches that it's very important for people to be obedient. Why do you have so many messengers and prophets sent over the years to people? What's the duty of a prophet? To uplift fallen humanity.
Right.
What made humanity fall? Men and women who are disobedient.
Right.
What does it mean to be obedient? It means that the higher authority that can ever be in creation, you must submit to that high authority. Not a spook, not a spirit, not a ghost, but a person.
Right.
You know, you even look in the Bible, people say, well, I know who God is. Sometimes they say God's a spirit. Sometimes they say God is a Father, Son, and a Holy Ghost.
Yes, sir.
But those who are a little more honest give you a better definition of God. God is the supreme being. Think about that. The supreme being. That means the highest existence that can ever be. Because supreme means top, right? Being means existence. Who teach us about God? And people still don't understand. They said in the Old Testament, God spoke to Moses. This is in Exodus.
Right.
Face to
Face
face,
to face.
as a man speaketh unto his friend. Anybody else know about God? What about Job? Job was a man who was perfect and upright. What else did he do? Did not Job walk and talk with God?
Mm-hmm.
Do you walk and talk with the Spirit?
Not knowing it.
Not knowing it. Now, if you did, you walked and talked with somebody
That's right.
who has the Spirit.
Yes, sir.
What else do they say about God? They call him the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell you that if you want to understand God, you got to understand something about God.
Mm-hmm.
White people tell them, go to the house of worship and you can go ahead and get happy. And then some of our people said they went there and they started shouting and kicking and clapping their hands. Somebody said, "What's you seem like you're very happy." The average person would say, "Well, I got the Spirit of the Lord." How do you get the Spirit of the Lord? Where did the Spirit come from?
Mm-hmm.
The Lord. You can turn around the other way if you want to. Mm-hmm. The Lord of the Spirit. Well, we still talk about the Spirit, but there has to be a source.
That's right.
That produces
the Spirit.
The Spirit.
Yes, sir.
Right? Some black people who get into Christianity and start preaching. One a year or so ago was saying that he had read in the Bible that even a prophet saw God's backside. I said, well, doesn't that tell you something? He said, what do you mean? I said, because if a prophet of God knows that God's got a backside, he's got to have a front side, right? But yet they still say God is a spook, spirit, or ghost, a combination of the three, and nobody knows God. The last book in the Bible called Revelation tell you something's going to be shown to you now that you never knew. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to learn about it. You're going to see God as he is.
Right.
Revelation 1:7-9. All eyes shall see him as he is. Not only did the people not know God, they didn't even know the devil. Why would the Bible say that people walking around the planet Earth don't know the devil? Doesn't it say that the man of sin gonna be revealed?
Yes, sir. That's what it said.
That's the devil. Didn't say he wasn't here. It's just saying you didn't know him.
That's right. That's right.
When he walked past you, when he spoke to you,
mm-hmm.
when he beat you half to death, mm-hmm. You still didn't know. You know something was wrong because everybody got no business stepping somebody's foot, a knee on somebody's neck when they said, "I can't breathe," and then the one who's on your neck don't want you to breathe. Mm-hmm. And some people around looking at it and say, "Hey, wait a minute, get your knee off of that man's neck because he can't breathe." The man didn't pull his knee off the neck because he didn't want the man to breathe. Mm-hmm. So he kept it on there until he didn't hear a sound coming out the man's mouth. Mm-hmm. Then he know for sure he had accomplished his mission.
Yes.
That's the devil.
Yes, sir.
Yahweh Muhammad says, we need to learn what Scripture teaches us about obedience. Not to obey somebody who's wrong, but to obey somebody who is right. That's right. The white folks made us think that anybody who's an authority is to be obeyed. We learned in our Muslim program, we are to obey those in authority as long as it does not conflict with our way of life, which is our religion. Mm-hmm. Book 1 opens in this portion with a verse Starts off with the word S-A-Y. Say. Mean what? Speak it. You don't know what to say until somebody
Give you something
tell
to
you,
say.
hold it, Benjamin. Let me tell you something to say.
Right.
Obey Allah, God, and the messenger. But if they turn back, not Allah, the messenger, they ain't gonna turn back. This is talking about the people who are instructed to obey Allah and the messenger. But if these people turn back, Allah surely loves not the disbelievers. He done told you, I will give you a command. He said, obey me, obey my messenger. Obey me, obey my messenger. Get in your head now. Now once you got that thought in your head, you should memorize. But then after you got that, then you say, well, I know I was instructed to obey Allah and the messenger. But I figure I don't want to obey him. Neither one of them. Then the messenger says, but after they are taught to say this, to commit it to the memory, to understand it, it's just like you tell children. You growing up, you become civilized because you ain't never been here before. So somebody who's been here before got to teach you something about civilization. The first thing you used to tell the child, learn your ABCs.
Right.
Learn your numbers. You tell them what to say, right?
That's right.
When they get all in your face, I don't want to say that. Some of them will these days, right?
That's right.
But if I say it, I ain't going to remember it. I really don't like to say it. But there'll come a point in time when somebody asks them, little boy, little girl, what's your name? Why don't you know? Because at the time when you should have learned, you didn't pay attention to the adults who were going to teach you the right way. So then you go off in any direction, being ignorant. You say, I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't care, and I really don't care to care. That's the defining attitude of those who don't want to be obedient.
Yes, sir.
Matthew had this subject in the same section that deals with hypocrites, disbelievers, and obedience, what we're talking about. And he said that one reason, not that he's not doing the mission that Allah put him on, but he said it was so hard for him to get things over to our people in America. And he told us why. Because our people tend to believe all the lies that they have been told by white people.
That's right.
Somebody might say, you mean everybody who's white can stand in front of a black person and tell them a lie? They do that. Sometimes they don't have to stand in front of you and tell you a lie. They can send you to school and you learn the lies from the textbooks that they wrote for you to read and study. And then they'll test you on the lies.
That's right.
And you get happy because you passed your test.
Pass the lie test.
You answer all the lies that you read.
Yes, sir.
So that's why our people get all messed up and they stay messed up.
Yes, sir.
So what happens when you get in that condition? Allah does not love the disbeliever.
That's right.
Well, you can't become a disbeliever until first,
You got to
in some category,
first.
you had to be a believer.
Yes, sir.
So you went against belief. Why? Because you thought somebody had something greater than what Allah gave you through the message. And you will contend with it, argue with it. Yaqub did that when he tricked black people over 6,000 years ago.
That's right. That's right.
The message put right here, the message of the black man. What did Yaqub do? Yaqub contended with reality. He tell you what you see, you really don't see. What you hear, you really don't hear. What you know, you really don't know. He got enough people to follow him in his trick knowledge. 59,999 black people followed Yaqub out of heaven into hell.
Yes, sir.
And the people are still doing it today.
That's right.
The Honorable Muhammad says, The religion of Islam demands strict obedience to Allah and His messenger. Not just one, but both. The word Islam means submission. And then he puts next to submission, obedience. But not obedience to wrong, obedience to right.
Yes, sir.
Obedience to God is not accepted if one is disobedient to the messenger. People walk around today. Some of them in the nation, after the departure of the Almighty Muhammad, and Boris, his crazy son, contended with the reality that had been laid before all of us. We should have been students and followers of his teachings. Many had the books, many had the lessons, many had been taught by ministers, and even ministers went crazy after they had gotten the right teachings directly from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. So Wallace came in there, my father, 50 bucks away, 30 bucks away, and he changed everything he could change to try to be defiant against Allah and the message. That's right. But yet, the scripture says you are to obey Allah and the message. He became disobedient, not just did. He told people, I ain't never really believed in that. He was disobedient for many, many, many years. From the point he knew how to become disobedient, he became disobedient. And a lot of them knew his history. Some of the older brothers and sisters in the nation. But they were not studying. I got something that I pulled out of Mr. Muhammad's teachings, 1972. I don't have my pocket. I go it. I know from memory. But the message was telling the believers, 2,000 or more sitting in Chicago. He says, some came to me years ago, and they were learning Islam very well. We're good students. He said, but over the years, some of them are still here. They haven't gone nowhere yet, but they're walking around. He said, in the midst of all of us. And he says, some of them are lip professors. He was talking, they knew who they were. They were sitting right in the audience with him. He said, they say from their mouth, but it's not in their hearts.
Yes, sir.
And he says, some of them would even walk around, bear witness to what he was teaching, but yet they didn't believe anything that they would bear witness to. That's a bad situation to be in. Now, you can understand in the Christian church, ain't nothing going on in there. They might wake up and hear something the preacher said. The preacher don't know what he's saying. But it makes sense to them because it was something he quoted out of the Bible that made sense. They may be half asleep. He'll wake up. Amen. And then after that, I'm back to it again. And the preacher said, well, how come they bear witness to what I was saying? And I'm trying to get it out here and see like the rest of y'all don't know what I'm saying. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Many preachers said and they don't know and he don't know what he's talking about. But he hit some wisdom coming out of the scripture that made sense to everybody because it sounds good, but they didn't know how to really apply what sounds so good. Sometimes people take their feet to a song. You know?
That's right.
Somebody said, well, yeah, you pay your foot to that song, but you trying to sing it and you all out of tune. Now, I don't know what it's saying, but I just like the rhythm. Just beat the feet. Pay your foot. I just like the way it sounds. A few years ago, we grew up most of us in households with parents and relatives. And they played music that we didn't know too much about, but we heard it when they played it. But when we got a little older, we played other kind of music because new songs are coming on all the time. And I remember a song, it was a group called the Platters, I believe. And something on the music, years ago, they had something called a growlophone. You grab it.
Victrola.
Victrola later on. But the growlophone was like shoot a picture of a dog or something.
RCA.
But anyway, you turn it with your hands and long to wind up and to the wind down and music will play. Then you got the Victrola. You had these musical boxes sound almost like a jukebox in a restaurant. I mean, they had some good sound way back then, you know. Some people have not heard that sound since then, you know. I still remember. And this group called the Platters, a very known across America, a black group. And they made this song and they would play this song a whole lot. Yes,
yes.
I'm the great pretender. Everybody, they just dancing to the great pretender. So I think I can find out. So what's a pretender? And you know, listen to the song. The man is singing, and the group is singing. What the pretender's all about? Pretending I'm doing well, but get in front of everybody. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm this that, but they're not doing well. So that's when I first learned about that word pretender. From the song they played on the gramophone or with the Victrola, and then they go down the street to the restaurant, they playing on the jukebox. Everybody playing that great pretender. Came a #1 song and stayed on the charts a long time. Black group singing the great pretender. So the message says, that's the condition of a hypocrite, a great pretender. Then he goes on to say, the messenger believes in what has been revealed to him from his Lord. And so do the believers. But what about those who don't believe? See, all of this is found in Holy Qur'an. The first one, he tells you, go to the 3rd chapter of Holy Qur'an, read verse 31. This one is the 2nd chapter, read verse 285. A true follower of the messenger believes as the messenger believes. But a hypocrite pretends he believes, but is not in all a believer. That's a great pretender.
That's right.
You know, he pretends he believes, but is not at all a believer. There are those who claim they are believers, but are sympathizers of the hypocrite. He's getting deeper and deeper as he goes forward. This was in Message to the Blackman. And all this was going on when you had people like Malcolm, his son Wallace, the Pharaoh called man, Lewis. All these people dancing around claiming that they believe in the honorable Elijah Muhammad and they believe in Allah, Master Farad Muhammad. So how can a person claim they believe, but they sympathize with the hypocrites? Those are the ones who will never say anything one way or the other. That's deeper still. They won't
sitting on the fence.
Yeah, they won't say, you know, take a stand to defend Allah and the messenger. And they're really not out there defending the hypocrite. But they're not going against the hypocrite. That's deep. Because if they took a stand, they fear that they will show their sympathy for the hypocrite. Such ones are warned in the Holy Quran. Don't go in the book. Behold, you are they who may contend on their behalf in this world life. But who will contend with Allah on their behalf on the resurrection? That's right. Now, see, a lot of people have been so screwed up with the white man's teachings of mystery God and going through after he died. When they hear the word this world's life, the white men already got them tricked. They think, well, I can say something there, but after I die, I can change up and go in another direction. No. It means who will contend with Allah on their behalf on the resurrection day. It's separating
That's right.
the darkness that Yaqub had made, this world's life, from the hereafter. A lot of them don't even believe in the hereafter. We were going in class this morning. A lot of them even eliminate possibilities of hereafter for themselves because they know they don't deserve to even be a part of the hereafter. They go into other stuff. They have commercialized and want everybody else to join them in that. Who will contend with Allah on their behalf on the resurrection day? Nobody will contend with Allah when they see what's coming at them.
That's right.
They better not. Because what Allah can put on them, they better not even think about contending. So that's found in Holy Qur'an, the 4th chapter, verse 109. There are those who like to dispute and act hostile toward the messenger of Allah. They are also warned, same chapter, chapter 4, verse 115. And whoever acts hostilely to the messenger after guidance has become manifest to him and follows. Now, whoever acts hostilely to the messenger after guidance has come to them.
Right.
They see it. And follows other than the way of the believers. We turn him to that which he himself turns. Right. And make him enter hell.
That's right.
And it is an evil result.
That's right.
Don't come right away. But the message says what?
You got some.
After you got the knowledge and you know what's right, and then you do about face and go directly in the opposite direction with wrong. It don't just hit you right away. Because you go into hell, but you don't just die right away when you get in hell. Because it says hell is an evil result.
That's right.
When people think about a result, they don't want to go somewhere like
enjoy,
kick back and
that's right.
Give me some iced tea and put a sun hat on and lay out on the beach.
Yes.
No, that's a result. But the Qur'an says like these people will have an evil result. Everything that's ungodly, you'll be able to lay around and bask in. This is what happened to the hypocrites. And many of them, as the whole Qur'an says, Mr. Muhammad went over there in a previous chapter. They seek to deceive others. How do you do that? They don't die right away, but they go around and try to trick other people to make them think that they are all right and everything is all right.
Yeah.
That's the first thing the whole Quran says. Try to trick somebody, but at the same time they try to trick somebody, they are constantly tricking themselves. And then it didn't stop right there. It says they deceive themselves, and at the same time they perceive not. They don't even know it.
That's right.
Allah is the master over what's happening. Allah don't push you in that direction. What does it say? Allah will allow you to wander on in your own insight. We were looking at some research we were doing on an article for the magazine a few issues back. And in the study of it, we were trying to find some of the history of what was happening in the nation under the guidance of Yahweh Muhammad. In the early days, God himself came and he set up temples of Islam. Bears witness to what the scripture said, that God would come to his temple. And later on we see, well, the early days, Detroit was known as Temple Number 1. Chicago, Temple Number 2. Even when they built some of the early buildings, it was engraved in the top of the building. Later on in the 60s, we found out, we heard the word mosque. Not that mosque is a bad word, but we got to do the history and found out how did we go from the temple to mosque. And sometimes the message was referring to the two terms. He sometimes said temple, sometimes he said mosque. And I looked in one place where the message said there would be somebody who would rise up in the nation under his guidance. And the message said, and this person would set up a mosque in opposition to what Allah had told him. I remember a few years ago, the brother who used to be the minister in Richmond, he said when the message was out there in Phoenix, Arizona, he had suffered from bronchitis
Right.
when he was in the devil's jail. And he said because sometimes he couldn't eat nothing hardly to keep him alive. So the devil would give them, like they said, what? Bread and water. And from that bread, the devil ain't gonna give you no wheat bread. Not like that. Maybe then the brother was fresh on something. He might let you have wheat bread and things. But then most of the bread was that old white bread. The only thing cooked was the crust. But inside it was all that dough. And it wasn't even what you call
Bleached.
it wasn't unbleached, it was bleached. Bleach means all the nutrition and everything else is taken out. So the messenger developed bronchitis and a whole lot of excess because mucus built up from eating all that white half cooked
so-called bread.
Bleach bread, right? So the Elijah Muhammad had told the brother who had come to visit him when he was out there in Phoenix, Arizona. He said, Malcolm wants to take my place. That's what the brother told us. He said, and the brother probably didn't understand, but he passed on to us what the message said. So I was thinking one time, I said, maybe after he left the nation, Malcolm did, and he claimed that he was so upset with the messenger, he gonna go out and set up his own thing, Muslim Mosque Incorporated. Might have been before that, because when the messenger wrote that book, what's it called, Message of the Blackman, this was
65.
In 1965. Malcolm was still supposed to be what? Somewhere in the temple then. Maybe causing havoc. But when did he set up the mosque in opposition to the message? And the brother who stated that, who was a minister in Richmond, I hadn't been there for just a little while in the temple. He had myself and another brother. He said, the Elijah Muhammad wants all the temples across the country to reflect what the temples are. I was thinking, but don't they reflect the temple? He said, see that sign right there? He said, take it down. Because it said Muhammad's Mosque on 2116 North Avenue. He said, take it down and take it and rework the sign. And we kept a couple of weeks in the brother's yard, and we put Temple of Islam. And in Chicago, it always said Temple, from my knowledge. Detroit, Temple. Maybe DC and some other places might have said mosque. New York was a mosque, but in the beginning it was temple. But we never knew why we went from temple to mosque for a little while, and then after the message, we did the rapid mission up back to temple. But the message does say in the message of the Blackman that someone would set up a mosque in opposition to him. And then when Wallace and Crazy Lewis and the rest of them, who wants to restore it back to what the messenger had given? Wallace took this all down. See how beautiful Brother Secretary talking on this? Now, if you get all of that out of this actual facts board, every time you come to temple, all across the country, you can get somebody who studied from teach on this board. One brother told us, we were on the phone, we said, why is it so hard to get the actual facts board up? He said, brother, I kind of became sick of how they were doing. He said, because they got up there and played on the board. I was saying to myself, I said, well, the minister shouldn't let nobody get up there and play on the board.
That's right.
Shouldn't let nobody get up there, period, and play in front of the temple. Teach the masters, teaching.
That's what they're there for. Yes, sir.
Wallace said, what? Take it down altogether.
Throw the books away.
Throw your books away. Listen to what he got to say. Lewis come behind him. He didn't do it drastically as Wallace. He never put the board back up in the temple where it should be. In fact, he never put the temple back up.
No.
He still got the mosque. So the messenger said, in the message of the Blackman, when Malcolm did his temple, he would set up a mosque in opposition to what was being done. And the person from Ivan said, how can Elijah say he set up a mosque in opposition? Well, he heard the term mosque. So here comes somebody in opposition to that, and he called it a mosque. Right. So it shows you what people do when they go into Hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
The word hypocrisy, the word hypocrite, that means a person thinks they know more than the God and the messenger who have instructed all of us. So, Messenger Muhammad said in one of his interviews, he said God was teaching him about Holy Quran. And this interviewer was asking the messenger about the Holy Quran. The messenger said, well, he instructed me in the Quran. He said, but he told me all of in the book does not pertain to you and your people. So therefore, he wouldn't waste his time going through all of this minute detail. He said, but those things that pertain to you, that's what I'm getting you ready for. And then Wallace comes on the scene, the son, and he claimed he was a Quranic scholar. And one thing that he did, he agreed with some of these Orthodox Muslims. And they were wrong. He got it right there in the footnote of the Holy Quran. Messenger put it in the beginning when we started with this subject. He said one of the scholars put the footnote down there talking about the Arab people are going to have a messenger or prophet because they've never had a messenger or prophet before. You find it, I think, it's Yusuf Ali and Muhammad Ali. Both of them agree. Not the main text, you can't mess with that. But you sneak up in the footnotes and throw any kind of stuff up in there. And not any kind of stuff. But you put stuff in there that the society you live in will agree to. Even though it might not be right. The Bible was in worse shape because what they did, King James put his stuff in there. The Catholic Church put their stuff. Martin Luther going one way and the Pope going another. Martin Luther, the German, he said the best definition for this character would be the dragon. The Pope said, oh, no. Because that's how the writers of Scripture describe him and his slipping around with his sleeves himself. And then the Scripture says in the Revelation, the one that you find in the Genesis was known as what? The snake, the serpent.
Right.
Now, you get all the way over to Revelation, you find the serpent has morphed into what? A dragon. That's still going to be a part of the reptile family, right? And another character over there in Revelation 2 called the beast.
Right.
They separate these two evil characters because one got a certain job to do, the other one got another job. The dragon lent his power
to the beast.
See, the head of the Catholic Church, the Pope of Rome, goes all around the world and take these wicked white governments and bless them. When they first came over here to kill the red man off, in the name of the king and the queen of such and such a country, right? And then they put the flag down and claim to be there. You just heard Brother Secretary talk about the devil's flag and our flag. Now, even though it's the devil's flag, it was made by a black man for the devil.
Describes it, that's right.
But look at all the flags that white folks made for each other. You know, most of the European flags got a cross in them. Look at them in your encyclopedia. Yeah, they got a cross in them, right? Because what? They kept the church and the state together. But America always talk about there must be a separation between what? Church and state. In Islam, there is no separation between what? Real religion that they want to call
real life,
and state. Because Islam is your way of life. The mathematics and the science, they work together.
Yes, sir.
But the white man couldn't keep that going in his wicked civilization. Because, you know, if people wake up with the science and the math and the chemistry and the physics and everything else, he wouldn't have no religion. So he got to take the religious people and give them a science of trigonometry. And then when people go and sit in the church, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, a physicist, a chemist, technical engineer. But he done dumbed you down so much that you would set all that science aside.
That's right. That's right.
And believe in that crap that he got.
Yes,
that he
sir.
called religion. It's not real religion.
No, sir.
It's the way of life that is full of darkness that he tells you to embrace.
Mm-hmm.
And our people, they're worse than white folks.
Yes, sir.
Because some white folks pull out of it.
We drank the Kool-Aid.
What white folks say? A lot of white folks during the 60s were waking up.
Mm-hmm.
They call themselves what? Atheists. Don't believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they believe in the God, but they didn't believe in the way that it's being represented to them. You know. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us we believe in the truth of the Bible, but must be reinterpreted so that we will not be snared by the falsehood that happen to add to it. Let's finish it up. And then the message says, they are warned. Chapter 4, verse 115. And whosoever acts hostilely to the message after guidance has become manifest to him after you get this guidance. Then you go hostile and you follow other than the way of the believers. Then we turn him, the hostile one, to that which he himself turns.
That's right.
And makes him enter hell. Allah will allow you to wander on in your own ignorance. And then hell, you don't die right away, but you bask and kick back and have a good time in it, so to speak. Mm-hmm. White folks are so upset now because Allah's world is coming on so fast. People are waking up. You know who they throwing on the TV this morning? Or right? So before we came to them. They'll reach back and find hypocrite Malcolm's daughter. She both got all kinds of degrees. They had her on TV this morning and trying to say, well, if Martin Luther King stuff don't work, let's slide over here into the Malcolm stuff. You know, because the people are becoming a little militant. Mm-hmm. Even the Al Sharpton and them, you know, they ain't just walking the street and just doing what they want to do that way. But they are pushing against the white civilization in a way he got to pull another trick out the bag to make them think that white folks are joining y'all now. And they're going to be more into the movement now than they've ever been before. They'll get somebody getting beat up by the cops, or shot by the cops, or stomped to death through the neck. So she was going along with what they were saying, and they were going along with what she was saying. When I was listening to it, I said, nowhere did they ask her about what he believed in before he left the nation. Because they don't want the people to know that, you know, that the solution to our problem is what? Separation.
That's right.
Divine. And before he left the nation, he said he believed that the white folks are the devil. Mm-hmm. Never lie, he told it. So did he just pretend to believe that? And then went home and told the family, well, you know, I went there, I believe what Elijah said. I said it, but I'm telling you, I don't go out there like fathers did. You know? He said, I never did believe this truth.
That's what he said.
So where are our people today in the white man's trick bag? Wandering around with the trick. This refers to those whom the messenger has guided to a life on the right path, and who have tasted the blessings of Allah, and then turn back to that which they have been brought out of. Isn't this a prayer that we got? The earth don't have that in their prayer. The one that's in the whole Qur'an, it says what? Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast those favors, and not the path of those upon whom thou hast wrathfully brought down, nor those who go astray. Period. But the one that was given to us as a stated prayer, in particular, followers of the Honorable Muhammad. What does it say? Those who go astray after they have heard thy teaching. And very seldom, if you don't find followers of the message who know that or have their teachers, they can only go on what they got, right? But nevertheless, the message is explained so plainly here what the deal is. They turn back to that which they had been brought out of. And here Allah causes them to meet with a worse condition than that which they left. That's amazing. This is tasted by such ones in this life. They get it, even though they don't make it to here. Allah does not spare a messenger, and this is what I remember.
That's right.
I can't read this up. Some of the Negroes who began to believe in Wallace, crazy dude, both of them being the same thing about the lies about the messenger. And one of them was saying one time, he said, I'm sure we just read in the book right here. I said, what? It says, Allah does not spare a messenger's near kin.
That's right.
Or their wives. Then we stopped them. And children. But if you understand what the message is saying here, he ain't saying I got no 4, 5, 10 wives. And some of them running around here now talking about it. The message says Allah does not spare a messenger's nearest of kin or their wives. He didn't say of his wives and children. Because he's talking about all kinds of messengers.
That's right.
Some of them years ago did have more than one wife. Muhammad ibn Abdullah, they said, years ago, 1400 years ago. But Allah taught the messenger one wife.
That's right.
And not only one wife. Some people say, well, the messenger got in and that's for women. He said, some people write him, men and women. Nasty man. Men and women write him. He said some women want to take on somebody else's husband. Some men want to take on somebody else's wife. He said, you stand to be as crazy as you was before you ever heard of this. He said, I wish you would stay out of the category of food.
Right.
So some people trying to take the Orthodox stuff, mix it with the message teaching, take the message teaching, throw it on the altar, throw it back and forth, pitch it on him. And he said he wanted all the women to be good Muslim women. Now how can you be a good Muslim woman and MBT and you mess around with another man's wife? The message said that some people have gotten so mixed up with this stuff. He said, I tell you what, he said, we have a law system. Don't we have letter he wrote to Wallace. He said, we come down to the temple and we get some resolution from this. The temple, you got the MDT captain, the FY captain. They got the rules and laws to go back. But if you say you believe what Wallace or Barcon said, and they said we can prove it, then you say somebody ain't following the rules and the law. Somebody can't be an MDT. Not like the real MDT, because she's out here messing around with somebody's husband. I know a few years ago we were in Chicago, and brother, looking at a paper, that's what we're doing, bro. Look at this guy right here. This woman, she done snuck past the MDT, past the FOI, kissing up on Lewis. What's this all about? I said, somebody broke protocol, because that's supposed to be the captain standing over there. He watched it and he doing nothing about it. And she done got through all the MDT, and he had no business doing that anyway, because he calls them around that. And if it was, you don't be in public like that, Anyway, and one brother said, he should have been doing all that. They should have put it in the paper. I said, well, somebody took the picture in his setup, and somebody took out the setup and put it in the paper on the internet.
Yes, sir.
But it just shows you, if you obey Allah in the message, and the message he puts this in here, so whatever you believe concerning him or anybody else, he says, Allah does not spare a messenger's nearest kin or their wives and their children. That's in Holy Qur'an 66, 1 to 11. Allah will chastise messengers if they disobey him. But Allah does not allow us to be the judges of his message.
That's right.
So we couldn't be.
That's right.
Because we don't know.
That's right.
If he's disobeying Allah for the message. Only thing we know is what the message teaches us. He said, from what I'm teaching you, then you can go to the temple, see your law enforcement official, and present whatever you're going to present before them concerning himself or anybody else. Now, he wouldn't deny you that because he already taught you what the rules and laws are. And he said, Allah taught you Does the restricted laws of Islam,
Is our success.
not yours, not mine, but all of us. Okay, then the message says, nor does he make a second choice in choosing the messenger for another. Read the histories of the prophets of God. O you who believe, obey Allah, this is a prayer, and obey his messenger, and make not your deeds vain. He said
That's
about
right.
the children. That's one of the first prayers men are doing. Surely those who disbelieve and hinder men from Allah's way, then die disbelievers. Allah will not forgive them. Holy Quran 47, 33, 34. God is very hard on those who disobey his message. He warns in the Holy Quran not to quarrel and dispute or raise our voices above the messenger's voice. And you know, we had some people that were calling all the time. Couldn't even hardly hear what the messenger saying. Running their big trap. Then one brother said, well, couldn't somebody come after the messenger to take his place? The messenger, I didn't choose myself.
Yeah, that's right.
How could I choose somebody? I'll be out of place choosing somebody to try to take my place. And of course, the message said, strict respect and honor is demanded for his messengers. We should not take them lightly. We may underestimate them without knowledge.
That's right.
So it's so much in what the message has here in this section on hypocrites, disbelievers, and obedience. Because some people will do stuff they want to do, and they try to find an opening in what they do to try to fit the message in them so that they can feel comfortable in doing what they want to do.
Right, right.
So because of this, people lose out. They did it to Prophet Muhammad. Aisha, as God at that time said, was a good woman. But some people tried to make it up that she's doing something that ain't too kosher. The other one said, she's all right. What happened? Ali goes one way, Abu Bakr goes another way. So they split the fortress of Islam, weakened to the point that the devil can come back in
between.
And Bin Laden said, oh, they're back. Here come the Crusaders. And he got his people together and said, drive them on off the east like we did in the Crusade years ago. And the devil took advantage of them. And the message teaches us, if we obey Allah and his messenger, then our deeds will not be in vain.
That's right.
That's all they
Well, they can say.
Any questions or comments on anything?